Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name's Amy from Tuition Up, and today we are going to review what we did in Free Lesson Friday. Let's do it. We started off the lesson by looking at my fish tank, and at the beginning of the lesson I always invite the children to feed my fish a word, and today I asked them to feed it a maths word, which seems a bit strange in an English class, but it worked really well. The first writing activity that we did was this one. It's called What's Missing. So we have a few sentences on the screen. You can take a moment to read them through now. What a strange something, said the something. So the idea is here that the children can suggest a word that could go into the first jigsaw puzzle piece and the second one. And maybe some of the more advanced learners can think of what word class it's going to be. So what a strange something is probably going to be a noun. Said the something else. Okay, and there was lots and lots of really good answers. It's a nice open-ended activity because there's not actually set right or wrong answers. It's just kind of got to make sense. And then a more advanced challenge here would be to pop in the correct punctuation as well, which lots of people did. And they did that by writing on the screen, or they did it by typing in the chat. So lots of different ways. And some people wanted to communicate theirs by speaking, so they just wave at me in the lesson, and then they get to read theirs out. The next part of the lesson was sensational spellers. This is not something I do every week. I'm not like mad about spelling myself, but sensational spellers is really useful. I always explain to the children that it's not just children, often adults spell words wrong as well. So we looked at 4 words that are commonly misspelt. One of these has got an American spelling as well, plural, and some double letters, silent letters. Free Lesson Friday starts at 10 a.m. on a Friday morning, and I get that that might be quite early for some people, but don't worry, if you arrive late into the Zoom class, I'll always let you in, so you don't need to worry about not being allowed in. That's absolutely fine. You can just come in and join in wherever we're up to. I always like to do a few starter activities before we move on to the main thing, and the main objective of today's lesson was learning about the rule of 3. So the rule of 3 is a technique that authors and writers use to make their writing more memorable, so to make things more memorable and often more persuasive as well for the reader. We started off our rule of 3 work by looking at this photograph here, and the children had to think of 3 adjectives that they could use to describe what they can see. And the 3 adjectives will be separated by a comma. You can see between turquoise and brilliant, and then the word and then their 3rd adjective. It's not uncommon for children to wonder actually what can they describe, so what kind of adjectives can they use. So next we looked at this image, and I explained to the children, and we shared some ideas of, well, what could we start to explain in this? Well, we could talk about the mood of the octopus, we could talk about his size, his age, shape, maybe where he comes from. Some people said he looked French or he looked American, and what he's doing. And these are all ideas that we can use to generate nice adjectives. And again, they followed the structure of separating those adjectives with a comma and the word and. Repetition is, of course, always good when we're learning. The more we practice and the more we do something, the better we get at it. So we looked at this picture next. Some children chose to describe the robot. Some children, maybe perhaps more advanced writers, chose a little bit harder to describe the rooftops, to describe the setting, and again they used the rule of 3. We had some really interesting ones, some really funny ones as well. I like this old, cranky and weird. That was a really good one. And finally we chose to look at how some companies use the rule of 3 in their slogans to be a little bit more persuasive. So I'm not going to show those logos, but I showed them to the children, and we looked at McDonald's, Tesco's, and KFC. So if you know the persuasive rule of 3 slogans for any of those companies, you can message me or put them in the comments below. If you would like to join us in Free Lesson Friday, it's completely free. You don't have to pay, and I don't expect anyone to pay anything for it. We meet every Friday at 10 o'clock, suitable for children who are approximately around age 9, 10, 11, 12. yeah, it would be great to see you there. I'll put a link in the comments in the description below so that you can join us. And I hope to see you on Friday. Bye.